6 Common Text Structures in Middle School, a close reading and text-dependent analysis curriculum. Copyright Luke Sullivan, 2020. Chronological. This series examines 6 common nonfiction text structures: description, sequence, chronological, compare and contrast, cause and effect, problem and solution. Text structure is the term used to describe the way information is organized in a passage. The way the information is organized helps our brain understand which bit of information is most important and how to categorize the rest. Think of it as a flowchart. The text structure we're working with today is a chronological passage. These texts organize events in the order they happened. This structure is common in current events, history, and in works of fiction or memoir. Very often they include dates, times, and other elements that ground the events in a particular time and place. The lesson begins with a close reading of the text, a marking up of the text, text-dependent questions, completion of a graphic organizer, and the writing of a text-dependent analysis essay. Today's text is The 16th Street Baptist Church Bombing by Jessica McBurney. Today's prompt: authors often tell about factual events in a way that is clearly understood. Write an essay analyzing how the text structure helps clarify the central idea. Use evidence from the text to support your response. The prompt states text structure and the central idea as the text elements to examine for interrelationships. The reader will identify the text structure and the central idea while reading. In her essay, as a writer, she will examine the interrelationships between the two elements and make conclusions. The reading technique we'll use is called close reading. This technique stresses determining a purpose before reading. You see what you look for. It also stresses writing notes and descriptors in the text. Studies show that these writings better enable students to identify and discuss text elements. The purpose for the first read is to get the gist of the passage. What's the topic and what are the big ideas? At the end of each paragraph, write a word or phrase to summarize the information. After you have finished the passage, you'll copy these phrases as sentences in your journal. This can serve as a summary of the passage. Here are some text-dependent questions that only require this surface read. Both summary and comprehension questions are a good way to demonstrate understanding of what was said. The purpose for the second read is to examine the author's craft. How is the text written? The reader identifies the elements of a chronological text structure and writes them in the left margin of the text. Here are some questions to direct the student's thinking. The third read is where you decide which text you'll use to support the points you want to make in your essay. You'll be completing a graphic organizer to gather this information. One way is to start with questions that address the interrelationships between the two elements. What is the central idea of the passage? And why did the author present the central idea of the text with a chronological text structure? Why was the information about the civil rights law left for the last paragraph? Why did the author write this? Hunt through the text, finding examples that support the points you want to make. They should address the interrelationships between the two elements. Write the author's words in the first column. In the second column, write how the author presented this information. What inferences did you make? The last column is where you'll explain why the author chose this information to advance the passage. Complete your graphic organizer with the points you'd like to make in your essay. The last step of the work is to use the information from your graphic organizer to write an essay sharing your thoughts. The first sentence of your essay uses words from the prompt and serves as a simple assertion. Older writers might include one of the conclusions they'll introduce later in the essay. The information from each row of the graphic organizer is used to complete a big idea paragraph. The writer organizes the big idea paragraph beginning with the quotation or paraphrase, developing with the text structure inference, and then explaining how this text serves the author's purpose. Use the information from your graphic organizer to write your 3 big idea paragraphs. The last section of the essay is the conclusion. A younger writer will repeat the information from the opening paragraph. An older writer will also echo the opening, but will introduce a something to think about after the essay is done. This can take the form of a "what if this didn't happen?" or by introducing an idea related to one of the text elements. Using the information from your graphic organizer, write an essay answering the TDA prompt. The student now reads her completed essay twice. The first read uses a lens focused on the interrelationships between the 2 elements. Can her big idea paragraphs fit in here? The second read uses the lens of grammar and writing conventions. Good job!